This conference will now be recorded.
So now today we'll see the database class, and we'll see what exactly the database class and what is the use, and how can we use this database class methods in order to perform the DML operations inside your Salesforce objects, and how it is different from the DML statements. We'll see. Now, whenever we are going to be performing the DML operations through the DML statements, like as insert, update, delete, undelete, observe, or match, any DML statement. Upon using these DML statements, there are some drawbacks. There are some drawbacks available inside this DML. What are these drawbacks? First of all, explain a practical example. Then I will show you how can we explain with some tool you can solve those problems with the help of database class methods. Now, let me take a small use case first. Let me take a small use case. For example, I have hiring manager object. I have hiring manager object. Now, in that hiring manager object, I want to insert some records. I want to insert some records inside my hiring manager objects. How many? Some 50 records I want to insert. Now let's see how can we do that. Write an Apex program to insert 50 hiring manager records inside the object. Write an Apex program to insert 50 hiring manager records inside the object. Then how can we write this piece of code? Now let's see practically in this case, and then what will be the problems will get arised, I will show you. Then we'll see how can we solve those problems with the help of database class methods. First of all, let me prepare this example. You know this example, how to implement this. Just I need to insert 50 hiring manager records inside my object. Let me go to my Salesforce instance. Let me log in into my Salesforce account. So let me go to the developer console in order to write that piece of code so that I'm able to insert 50 records inside my hiring manager object. I'm using this developer console. Now, so let me go with that class DML helper. Now in this class, I'm preparing that method. I'm preparing a method in order to insert 50 hiring manager records inside my object. I'm preparing this method. Public static void create bulk HR records. Create bulk HR records. I would like to create some bulk HR records inside my object. So how many records? Let me show you. Now, when you go to this hiring manager object, okay, when you go to this hiring manager object, we have the various of fields. We have the various of fields like as hiring manager name and the contact number, location, email ID. From these four, these are the four fields are there. From these four, hiring manager name is a mandatory field, contact number is also mandatory, email ID is mandatory. But the location is not a mandatory, it's an optional field. You may enter, you may not enter the location value. But for the remaining three fields, we have to supply the value. Now, let's see how can we do this. Now, let's see that practical part over here. How can we do it? So now let me write that piece of code in order to create some 50 hiring manager records. I'm preparing a list collection. List of hiring manager lst HR records equals to new list of hiring manager. So I'm creating a list collection which is used to store the bulk hiring manager records inside my object. What is the hiring manager class name? Now I would like to supply the values. How many records we need to create? 50 records. So that I'm using a for integer counter equals to 1, counter less than or equals to 50, counter plus plus. Now for integer counter equals to 1, counter less than or equals to 50, and counter plus plus. So I'm incrementing this value from 1 to till 50. So in each iteration, I would like to insert one hiring manager record. So I would like to insert a separate hiring manager record in each and every iteration. So I am preparing this hiring manager underscore C, some HR equals to new hiring manager. I'm creating the object of this hiring manager class, and then we can supply the values. I'm supplying the values. HR dot name. I'm passing the value. Sample HR hyphen counter. That means I'm adding that, okay, sample HR1, sample HR2, sample HR3, like that up to 50. HR dot contact number. I'm passing the value. HR dot email ID. I'm indicating sample HR plus counter plus @sumtest.com. HR dot location. I'm indicating this value like as some Bangalore. So once the HR record is ready, I would like to add this HR record to my collection. Because I don't want to insert each and every record separately, I would like to add this record to the collection. So I'm adding this record to the collection. Okay, to follow the verification process. Add of HR. So once all the HR records has been added to the collection, then I would like to verify. If the collection is not empty. If the collection is not empty, that means whatever the hiring manager records collection is available, if the collection is not empty, then I would like to insert this hiring manager collection. So this is the business logic we have written. This is the business logic I have written that in order to insert 50 hiring manager records inside my object. It's a normal concept, regular concept, which already you know, already we did so many times, this kind of insertion. Multiple records we are able to insert inside the object image. Already we did by using bulkification process. So now here in this case, whenever I'm inserting this 50 records inside my object in one shot, then in this case here, it will be raising some exceptions. It will be raising some exceptions also. When, let me show. So whenever I'm going to be inserting this 50 records for one record, okay, for one record, if I did not supply the value for one of the mandatory field, then what will happen? Because upon creating the hiring manager record, so now name is a mandatory field, contact number is a mandatory, email ID is mandatory. So if we did not pass the value, if we forgot to pass the value for one field, for one record, okay, for one record, okay, then what will happen? Let me show you. Now, so now here I don't want to pass the email ID for one record. In this case, I'm verifying this. If counter value not equals to 48, that means if the counter value is not equals to 48, that means if it is up to 47, and then after that 49 and the 50. That means what? If the counter value is equals to 48, then it will be indicating that for this particular record, don't supply this email ID field value. But the remaining all records 1 to 47 and then 49 and 50. For these records, I would like to supply the higher email ID value for this HR record. So I would like to pass that email ID value for 49 records, but for one record, I'm not supplying this email ID value. Okay, this is the condition which was specified. If counter value not equals to 48, that means if the counter value is not equals to 48, then supply this email ID. Suppose if this counter value is equals to 48, then 48 not equals to 48, condition is failed. At that time, it will be coming out from the block. So for this, in this 50 records, for one record, I'm not passing the value for email ID field. Then what will happen? Let's see. Okay. Now, before that, let me show you how many hiring manager records are available. Let me see the count. Totally, how many hiring manager records are there? 316 records are available. Okay, totally 316 records are available. As part of this hiring manager object, we're having totally 316 records are available here. Now, let me try to create, okay, 50 records more. But for one record, I'm not supplying the value for one of the mandatory field. Email ID is a mandatory field. I'm not passing the value for which record? Only for the 48th record, I'm not supplying. For remaining all the records, I'm supplying this email ID value. Okay, now, so now let me execute this piece of code. Observe what will happen. So now let me execute this piece of code. Create bulk HR records. I'm invoking this method, create bulk HR records. Click on execute, observe what will happen. Let's see. It is indicating that system.dml exception insertion failed. First exception has been occurred on row 47. Okay, first error is required field missing. Okay, that is email ID. That means what? Why it is showing that number like as okay on row 47? Because for the 48th record, I did not supply the value. Then why it is showing 47? Because these records are there where these records are available inside a list collection. How list collection will identify the records? By using index position. Index position is starting from what? 0. If it is starting from 0, then where the 48th record will be there? In the 47th position. Generally, we have started the counting from 1, but the index is starting from 0. So 48th record will be available at the 47. That means 47th record has been failed because here one required field is not having the value. The value is missing for that required field, that is email ID. Then what about the remaining records? Up to 47 records. 48th record has been failed. Then what about that previous 47 records? Will those records are inserted? No. It will cancel that whole transaction. That means what? Whenever I'm performing the DML operations, DML statements are purely atomic statements. DML statements are purely atomic. Atomic means what here? You know. Okay, atomic in the sense what? You know that here. Atomic in the sense only one. Okay, atomic in the sense only one. You know, as part of your education background, your childhood, you know that atomic means only one. That means either it has to insert all the records or either it has to cancel all the records. All the operations has to complete or all the operations has to cancel. Only one, not both, not partial. Like as half of some records inserted, some records failed, not like that. So this is one of the problem. This is one of the problem over here. Because of one record failure, remaining 49 records has been cancelled. Then again we have to execute those records, right? Again we have to execute those operations, right? Then in that second time, okay, do we have any guarantee that all the operations are processed successfully? No. Maybe another record will get failed. I don't know. Then again we have to reprocess. So in this case, it is a repetitive process. It's a repetitive process. This is the first problem in DML statements. The first problem is DML statements are purely atomic statements. Okay, DML statements are purely atomic statements. That means what? Whenever I'm performing the DML operations on the records, if any of the operation has been failed, the whole transaction will get rolled back. That means the whole transaction will be getting cancelled. All the remaining records in the transaction will be getting cancelled. This is the first problem. Because these are purely atomic. These are purely atomic because every DML statement internally maintains a transaction. Implicit transaction will be maintained by Salesforce. Every DML statement will maintain an implicit transaction so that upon performing the operations, it will be insertion or updation or a deletion or undeletion or merge, it may be anything. While performing the DML operations, if any of the records operation has been failed, then the whole transaction will be getting back. This is the functionality of DML statements. This is the first problem. Next. Second problem. Sometimes we can raise a question. Okay, sometimes we can raise a question. Sir, do we have any partial processing mechanism inside this? Partial processing mechanism inside this. Partial processing mechanism means what here? Suppose, for example, assume that I'm inserting some records. Record 1, record 2, record 3, record 4, record 5, record 6. For example, I'm inserting 6 records. So I'm inserting all the records one by one. Okay, because within the single collection, all the records are there in a single collection. This is my list collection. Okay, this is my list collection. I'm inserting this entire list collection in one shot. So first record is inserted, second one is inserted, third one is inserted, fourth record has been failed. Because of that, it is cancelling the whole transaction. Do we have any possibility, okay, inside this particular DML statement that if the fourth record has been failed, then don't cancel the whole transaction, just ignore this one, continue with the rest of the records. Do we have any such possibilities like this here? No. We don't have any such possibilities over here. Like for example, assume that come to a general scenario. Assume that I'm doing a graduation, which is some 4 years, like some 8 semesters. First semester I have cleared all the exams. I got passed. In the second semester, I have cleared all the exams. In the third sem, I got failed 2 subjects. So I got failed in the third sem. Can I continue with the fourth sem, right? Yes. In the fourth sem, we can able to write these 2 exams as a backlog. I will be having 2 backlogs are there because I got failed 2 exams in the third sem. So I can continue with the fourth sem. I will write those backlog exams in fourth semester. Suppose in the fourth semester I got cleared all the things. Fifth semester I got failed for 3 exams. and then I'm writing those exams in the 6th semester. In the 6th term, I got failed for 5 exams. In the 7th term, I will write all these 7 exams. That means what? We can continue. We no need to be getting cancelled. We no need to continue with the same semester again. Even though if we got failed some exams, if we got failed in one exam, like as one exam or in that particular semester, we can go to the next semester. You will be promoting to the next semester. In that next semester, we have to complete this backlogs. Like that, I want this kind of partial processing mechanism. Whenever I'm going to be inserting the records or updating or deleting or performing any operation, if any of the record has been failed in the middle of the processing, it should not cancel that whole transaction. It should just leave that record, ignore that record, continue with the rest of the records. This is called as partial processing mechanism. Do we have such mechanism in Salesforce? No. In this DML statements, we don't have any partial processing mechanism. This is the second drawback. This is the second drawback of DML statements. Third one. The third drawback is do we have any tracking mechanism over here? Like which record has been failed? When the record is failed, it is showing some message to me. Okay, now 47th record has been failed. Then what is that record I want? That details. It is showing simply email ID field is not available. Email ID field is missing. Then what is that record? I want that record. I want the tracking mechanism. So whatever the remaining 47 records, those are inserted. If yes, what is the idea of those records? I want to know. So in this case, there is no such kind of tracking mechanism in DML statements. So DML statements are having 3 drawbacks. What are the DML statements we have discussed as of now? Those are having 3 drawbacks. The first one is DML statements are purely atomic statements, where upon performing the DML operations on those object records, if any of the record operation has been failed, the whole transaction will get rolled back. The whole transaction will be getting rolled back. That means rollback means something but cancelling all the previous operations. Next, the second problem. Second problem is DML statements won't provide any partial processing mechanism. This is the second problem. Third problem is DML statements won't provide any tracking mechanism upon failing those records. Whatever the records has been failed, I want to track those records, which records has been failed. If I know those records, then next time I will process only those failed records. Because I want to allow the partial processing here, whatever the records has been failed, only those failed records we can able to reprocess. Like for example, whenever I got failed for 2 exams in the 3rd semester, in the 4th semester, I will continue with that exams. I will write only those failed exams over here. Not all the 3 3rd semester exams I'm writing, only those 2 failed exams I'm writing over here. It is supplementary. I'm going to be writing the exams only for the backlogs, not for all the exams of 3rd semester. Only those failed exams are writing. Like the similar way here also. I want to process only those failed records. Instead of processing all the records, I want to process only those failed records. Then we don't have such kind of tracking mechanism in DML statements. So these are the 3 major drawbacks are available as part of DML statements. So to avoid this kind of problems, Salesforce has introduced a class called as a database class. Whatever the 3 drawbacks are available inside my DML statements, to avoid all these 3 drawbacks, we are using the help of database class methods. Database class is a ready-made class which has been given by Salesforce, which is used to interact with the Salesforce objects and we can perform all the DML operations. Database class methods will be avoiding all the 3 drawbacks of DML statements. So, what are the 3 drawbacks we have identified inside these DML statements? Those 3 drawbacks will overcome with the help of this DML statements methods. Now, upon inserting this record to DML statements, or upon processing any record to DML statements will allow the partial processing mechanism. DML statements will allow the partial processing mechanism. Along with that, it is providing the facility to track that information. Each and every record information we can track. Upon inserting or upon updating, upon deleting the records, what is the status of the record? We can able to track that record status also with the help of this DML database class methods. That facility is available as part of this database class methods. Then how can we use this database class methods in order to process these records? Now let's see. Okay. This is the major functionality or the difference between normal DML statements and database class methods. Let me use the node Python. While performing the DML operations through DML statements, it causes the below issues. First one, DML statements are purely atomic. That is, while performing the DML operations on the collection of records, if any of the record fails, then it will cancel, it will roll back the whole transaction. It will roll back the whole transaction. Second, DML statements won't provide any partial processing mechanism. DML statements won't provide any partial processing mechanism. There is no partial processing mechanism in DML statements. Third one, DML statements won't provide any tracking mechanism. To track each record operation result. We don't have any tracking mechanism to track each and every record's DML operation result. It may be insertion, it may be updation, it may be deletion, or anything, any DML operation we can able to perform. So upon performing this operation, whatever the result of that operation, we can't able to track. There is no such possibility over here. So now here in this case, whenever we are going to be utilizing this DML statements are going to be causing these issues. To avoid the above drawbacks, we have to use of database class methods. Database class provides the various methods. Database class provides the various methods to perform the DML operations. As below. Database class provides the various methods to perform the DML operations as below.
you. Hello.
Now, so in this case, when coming to the database class,
Sir,
it
I'm
is
not able
providing
to
the
hear you properly.
various methods. Madam,
Hello,
please
sir.
check your audio connections.
Hello.
Madam,
Sir,
please check
mine
your
is
audio
okay. Others are
connections.
also facing the same issue.
Actually, we can hear.
Sir, others are also facing the same issue.
No, madam, remaining people are able to hear my voice. Guys, all of you facing the same issue?
No, sir, we are fine.
Yeah.
Actually, I am fine.
Roshan just texted me that he is also facing the same issue. That's why I'm asking.
No, most of the people are fine with that. There is no issue. Unless I will be getting some messages in the chat window. I haven't received anything. I will rejoin that meeting now.
For me, it's clear.
Now, so in this case, whenever we are performing the DML operations by using this database class methods, database class is providing the various ready-made methods. Like we can use the database.insert, database.update, database.delete. Like that, we're having the various methods are available. Like I'm going to be using database.insert, database.update, database.delete, database.undelete, database.upsert, database.image, and database.empty recyclable. Empty recyclable. These are the various methods has been given by Salesforce by default as part of this database class. Then how can we use this? We'll see practically in this case. So whenever I'm going to be using this database class methods, how can we use? I will show you database.insert, and then remaining things are exactly similar, no change at all. Let me give the syntaxes over here. Database.insert. Database.insert. How can we use this database.insert method? I will show you practically, and then how can we solve these problems? I will show you with a practical use case. Now, database.insert method is for what? Database.insert method is used to insert a collection of records into the object iterator. Now, so by using this database.insert method, we can insert a collection of records inside that object iterator. By using this method, we can insert a collection of records into the Salesforce object data. So now this database.insert method is having the capability to allow the partial processing mechanism. Not only inserting a collection of records, we can allow the partial processing mechanism also, where upon inserting these records, if any of the record has been failed, it will simply ignore that record, it will continue with the rest of the records as it is. That possibility is available over here. Then how can we do that? What is the syntax? Then syntax is database.insert, where we can specify the collection object name, where exactly the records are available, and the second parameter is a Boolean parameter, which is indicating whether all or nothing. That means what? You want me to insert all the records, or you want me to cancel? We can specify that here. Now in this case, we have to pass this a Boolean parameter as a second parameter over here. So in this case here, okay, now here in this case, if you're passing through, what will happen? If you are passing through, what will happen? It will maintain the transaction. It will maintain the transaction. It will maintain the transaction. Whenever I'm passing this value as true, it will maintain the transaction. That is, it will work as the DML insert statement. That means whenever I'm going to be inserting the multiple records, if any of the record has been failed, whole transaction will get rolled back over. This is the problem. It will be working like as the normal DML statement. If I'm passing the value false, then it will allow the partial processing. It will allow the partial processing. That means upon inserting the records or upon performing the operation, if any of the record fails, that simply that record will be getting ignored. It will continue with the rest of the records as it is. This is a functionality here. Now, so in this case, whenever I'm going to be inserting the records, suppose if one record has been failed, so it simply has ignored that record, it is continuing with the rest of the record. Then where we can track the records results information, which records have been processed successfully, which record has been failed. If the record is failed, then why the record has been failed? I want to track. For that one, to get the results, nothing but to get that operation results, to track the results, Salesforce is providing one class called as database dot they're having a class called as database dot save result class. Okay, database dot save result. Database dot save result is a class which can store only one record save operation result. Whenever I'm inserting that record, upon insertion, what is the result of that record? Whether the record is inserted successfully or not, or failed. Okay, to get that result, we are using the save result class. But here I'm inserting collection of records, right? So that we can able to create the collection. That means an array also, a list collection also, whatever you want. You can specify the object name equals to, we can able to use it. This is the syntax. This is the syntax of database dot insert method. Upon inserting the records, so now whatever the records you are processing by maintaining inside the collection, those records results you can able to place inside that class called as save result class. Now, let me dig into the concept here. Database dot save result class. What is the use of this class? Database dot save result class is a ready-made class given by Salesforce, which will be storing the result of the records which we are inserting inside that object. Now, it will store the results of the records which are inserting into the object. Whenever you are inserting some records inside the object, that records result operation result we can able to store inside this save result class. Each database dot save result class can store only one record result, only one record result. So now here in this case, we can able to process the records result operations. So each and every records save result operation information we can store inside this database that save result class. To store the multiple records result operation, we need to use a collection. Multiple records insertion results, we need to create an array or list collection. Like a list collection. Now, so in this case here, this is the syntax. Then, in this case, how can we track the result operation? Operation is successful or not? It is providing the various methods. As part of this database that save result class, we have the various methods available. The first one is a success. Is a success. What is the use of this is success method? This is a success method is used to identify whether this insertion operation is success or not. Whether this operation is success or not, to know that we are going to be using this is a success method. If the operation is success, it returns true, or else it returns false. It returns true if the operation is successfully processed, else it returns fail. That means false. This is the first one. Now, second one. Second one, whenever if the operation is success, then Salesforce is generating some ID, right? Yes. To get that, we are using get ID. Get ID method is used to get the ID of that record which has been generated by Salesforce. Now, it is used to get the record ID which has been generated by Salesforce. Which has been generated by Salesforce upon insertion. Upon insertion, whatever the ID has been generated by Salesforce, we can get that record ID. And then if the record has been failed, then what is the errors here? We can able to get that by using this get errors. This method is used to get the errors which has been raised by Salesforce if the record has been failed while processing. Now, because upon inserting the record may be success, record may be fail. If the record is success, it returns ID. If the record is fail, it returns errors. We can track that errors also. What is the reason why my record has been failed? It returns the error messages. Error messages which has been raised by Salesforce. Salesforce, if the record has been failed. The record has been failed while processing. While processing, the record has been failed, it will be raising the error messages. How can we get the error messages? For that one, it is getting error messages in the form of a class called as database.error class. Database.error class. Then what is this database.error class? Now let's see. Database.error is a ready-made class which is used to store all the errors information which has been raised by Salesforce while record has been failed while processing. Upon processing the records, if any of the record has been failed to process, then why that record has been failed, what is the reason, we can able to track that information by using database.error class. Now, by using this class, we can able to track all the errors information. By using this class, you can track all the errors information, which has been raised by Salesforce. When the record get failed to process, then how can we get those errors information? It is providing the various methods. It is providing the various methods here. What are the various methods has been given by this database.error class? Now let's see. The first one is get message. Get message method. It returns the error message. It returns the error message. Second one, get status code. It returns the status code of the error message. Error. Like for example, required field missing. Required field missing, or mixed DML operation. Mixed DML operation. Like that. Third one. The third one is get fields. It returns all the fields information which has causes this exception. That means whenever an error is occurred, why the error has been occurred, because of which field the error has been occurred. I would like to track. So it returns all the affected fields. Affected field due to which the operation has been failed. Due to which the operation has been failed. So these are the two more classes which we are going to be using, especially upon using this database class methods. This is a common functionality in every real-time implementation. We have to go with the database class methods. So whenever I'm going to be inserting the records by using this database.insert method, I would like to allow the partial processing. So we have to pass the value false. Whenever we are going to be allowing the partial processing, that means, okay, upon processing the record, if one record has been failed, simply it will ignore the record, remaining records will process as it is. Then I need to track which records has been processed, which records has been failed. Then for that one, to get that results, I'm using save result class. By using that, we can able to track that information over there, and then we can able to collect the success records and the failed records also. Whatever the records are failed, why the records are those failed? I would like to track by using database.error class, so that we can able to modify those record values and we can process only the failed records. So that's it. This is how we are going to be implementing. How can we do that? Let me show you with the practical example. The same example I would like to use right now. So now by using this database class methods. Instead of using this, I would like to use database class methods. Now I'm using database.insert. Database.insert, I would like to pass that collection name. So this is the collection name, and then I'm passing the second parameter as false. That means allow the partial processing. Allow the partial processing, which will return the result in the form of database.save result class. Save result. Results. I'm creating an array type here. Okay, I'm creating array type. From that one, I would like to collect each and every record result over here. For each and every database dot save result, res from results. That means I'm iterating that collection. Because this is an array, I'm iterating this array here. I'm collecting each and every element. Every element will be of type, which is database.save result. I'm collecting each and every element. That means every record result. Then I want to show this information. If result dot is a success. That means if the operation is success, I will show the message system dot debug record inserted successfully, and the record ID system dot debug record ID is, I want to know that res dot get ID. If the record has been failed, that means else, I want to collect that errors information. Multiple errors, it will be raising that. For that one, I'm collecting each and every error information. So now res dot get errors, it will be returning in the form of list of database dot errors. So I'm collecting that each and every error message over here by using the iteration database dot error class error PR. We can able to collect each and every error information. I want to show that error message. I want to show error dot get message, and then system dot debug get error status code. Error status code. Error dot get status code. Third one, I would like to collect the affected fields. System dot debug get affected fields. Error dot get fields. We can able to get the fields information. So this is how we are going to be writing that code. So we are going to be tracking each and every record, and then we are going to be displaying this errors information also and the success records information also. For each and every record operation, I would like to track the result here. The result I want to display, and then I want to give you a line break. System.debug, I'm giving the line break. So once each and every record has been getting processed, it may be failed, it may be processed also. I would like to show the error messages and then success information by giving a line break so that we can understand, okay, each and every record's result. This is how we need to process. This is additional code we need to write. Upon inserting these records, we have to use database.insert method. I'm passing that second parameter as false. That means allow the partial processing. If the partial processing has been allowed, then it definitely some records will fail or some records will process successfully. So to track each and every record result, I'm storing the results by using save results class. So I'm collecting each and every record result by using the for loop. I'm verifying that record result is success. But if it is success, I'm displaying that message. If it is failed, I'm collecting the errors information over here, and then I'm getting each and every error information from that collection. I'm displaying this error information. Okay, now let me execute this piece of code now. Now totally how many records are there now? 316 records are available. Now I'm inserting 50 records. So then 366 records should be there, but one record will be getting failed because here I'm forcefully, by knowingly, I'm making one record fail over here. Okay, now let me execute this piece of code. Now let's see, previously it is showing the error message, now it is executing perfectly. Now, so in this case, if you want to track these error messages, nothing like as if you want to see the result records, when you refresh this user interface, it is showing that 365, that means 49 records. One record has been failed. What is that record I want to know? Let's go to the debug log file. Let's verify this. First record is success, second record success, third record success, fourth record success. Like that, when you come down the last records here, see 48 the record has been failed. The record has been failed. 48 the record has been failed. The error message is the record information. Because email field is missing, this is the error status code, this is the field because of which the error has been occurred. Even though this 48th record has been failed, simply it will be ignoring this record operation over here. It will continue with the 49th record also. 49th has been success, 50th record also has been success. This is how we can allow the partial processing mechanism in Salesforce by using database class methods. Okay, this is how we are using database class methods inside your Salesforce instance. Now, let me place this code. Using database class methods and allow the partial processing mechanism and track each record result. Track each and every record result. I'm indicating this class code. Execution. DML helper dot create bulk HR records. This is the way we can able to use the database dot insert method. This is how we are going to be using the database class methods inside this. And then I will give you the syntax of the remaining classes also, remaining methods. Now, in this case, database dot update method. Let me give you the syntax over here. Here we can able to pass database dot update. There is a syntax and the delete method. Instead of update, we are using this delete method. But here we have to use a delete result class. Methods are same, like as save result, same methods are available, no change. Just the class names are different. So whatever the records you are deleting here, upon deleting the record, some records will be deleted successfully, some records will get failed. So that we can track that information by using database delete result class. Then database undelete method. So that we can able to collect that method name database undelete method, and then we can able to get the results by using database undelete result class. And then database upsert method. Upsert method. We are using this database upsert method. We are going to be using that result called as database upsert result class. Like the similar way. Database merge method. And here it will be, we are using this merge method. And then we have to use merge result class. Merge result class. These are the various methods are available. Remaining methods are everything is same. Instead of using this insert, if you want to do the delete operation, use database delete, database delete result class. In the internal methods are everything is same, no change at all. Just you have to make the changes in this method name and then this particular class name. Remaining functionality is exactly same, no change. Just you can copy and paste over there. That's it. Simple functionality. This class name we have to change, this method name we have to change. Remaining thing, everything will be same, no change at all. This is how we are using database class methods inside your Salesforce instance. Okay. Now, tomorrow we'll see one more new concept, that is email programming. How to send the email notifications from Salesforce to the external email IDs we'll see practically in tomorrow's session. In tomorrow's session, we are going to be discussing about that email programming. We'll see practically over there. how to send the email notification from Salesforce to external email IDs, what are the various classes are available. We'll see practically those classes also. Okay.